You can talk to Shani anytime. It doesn't matter day or night. But Shani,
Welcome.
your light and love. We're coming on with
But this season is going to be phenomenal.
Hey, Sharon with Shani show is back
the
Monday
show.
nights at 8
You're on with Shani and you know we're gonna.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
I'm gonna start the music. I gotta get in the flow. I hope
You can talk to Shani anytime. It doesn't matter day or night. But Shani, giving you light and love. We're coming on without a doubt. There's nothing you can talk about. Shani, get ready to start the show. You're with Shani and you know we're gonna tie ordinary people and extraordinary God. Check the reference in Ephesians 5. We walking in the light and we're living in love. You know with Shani we gon' keep it intact. Cause every Monday got it coming. Yeah, we coming right back. So act like you know we get it on and popping at the Shani Show. You can talk to Shani anytime. It doesn't matter day or night. Shani, we're giving you light and love. We're coming on without a doubt. There's nothing you can talk about with Shani. Welcome to the 6th season of the Sharing with Shani show. I am your host, Shani. We have our wellness whisperer, Mika, fresh in the building. We have Tali Harrison all the way from Seattle, Washington in the building. We're all in different buildings. Not because that's how the Shani show rolls. And we are 21 minutes late, and you know all about transparency because I am not a technical engineer and we couldn't get it right. So we had to pivot. That's the word for 2020, pivot. Although my business coach hates that word, but that's a whole nother topic. We'll get her on later.
Good, please. I'm intrigued. What is I'm supposed to do?
Right. So a few things. Okay, I listened to your feedback, negative and positive. I got me a bigger chair, so now you can see my whole face. Because every week, everybody kept saying, I can't see your face, Shani. I can't see your face.
So constructive.
Right. So we got a bigger chair, still having issues with the lights, but you know, it's all good. It's all love. So we're going to get started because we're already late. Mika.
What's up?
It's been a long time.
Shouldn't have left you without a dope beat. Step 2. Okay.
Right.
It has been, though. It has been.
It's been. The last time we were on was what? June? We took a little hiatus. Yep. You rocked with me to the end of June, which we usually don't do. We usually start at the beginning of June, but it was COVID. Where were we going in June, right?
I don't know.
So we're back. We got background noise because people forget that I do a show in my house.
It'd be like, I'm just praying. I'm praying like nobody can hear through the ceiling because my 6-year-old is having a fit upstairs. Okay, it is what it is. It's Monday.
Right. Okay. So how's your summer been?
It's been as great as I could make it. I really don't have any expectations. I just desired to not let this thing take me out, and I survived because of God.
Amen. What's happening new? Because I mean, you got the juice bar, you got the children's book, you got the therapy stuff that you do. You know, wellness is not about yoga. What did you say?
Wellness is greater than yoga and green juice.
Yes.
Yep.
So all those things mixed in together. Got a podcast gonna come out soon.
Yeah. All that.
Right.
Not at once though. So what Corona has taught me or shown or highlighted, you know, whatever word you want to use, is to focus. I want to slow down and streamline. I've always said I have a creative ADD, so I feel like I have a whole lot of ideas and I just be like, God, help me get them all out there. Blah, there you go. And I don't need to do that. You know, uncovered some probably like underlying maybe fears, anxieties, desires, all the above, however you want to categorize that. And I realized that it's totally okay to focus and, you know, invest energy in a very streamlined, efficient way. And so while I do have a lot going on, I have streamlined some stuff. And I'm feeling really good about that. I'm trying to get my chair right. I'm about to fall. 1 second. All right, there we go. We're good. And so greater than yoga. I have you mentioned podcasts. So it's on my YouTube channel, basically. So it's a mixture of ways to get content. I'll be doing video, I'll be, you know, live interviewing some people, I'll be podcasting, but everything is going to go up on my YouTube channel. And all of it is focused on the brand, right? Meet Mika Fresh. You'll get to understand who she is, what she does, what she's passionate about, and how she moves in this world. And that's really it. And I'm excited about that.
I am too.
Thank you.
You didn't talk about the other thing that you asked me to be a part of. Can we mention that?
So the book, we can, because I'm excited about that.
I'm excited.
And so again, creative ADD, right? But I feel like it's needed in a time right now where we are really feeling so down, you know, confused, even just unsure. I feel, but also there is a lot of political things happening, you know, social unrest. We are just right in the dead smack, you know, 11th hour of voting in a new administration. There's a lot going on, a lot of heaviness, a lot of seriousness, a lot of emotion. So coffee table book is I don't want to release the title name just yet. I gotta secure that. You know, folks be quick. I watched a few minutes of Gladys and Patty, their battle last night, right? Because I'm a Go Hard Patti LaBelle fan.
My mother was too.
Listen,
let me tell you,
I will fight you over some Patty, okay?
That's the first concert she took me to at Constitution Hall. We didn't even live in DC. We still lived in New York, and she drove down here for the weekend for the concert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's Patty, right? Like Patty is a whole mood. She's a movement all in herself.
And I'm gonna be completely honest with you. At 12, I didn't appreciate her greatness.
What?
I was 12, and
I don't know.
So mad at me that I wasn't as excited as she was.
It's okay. I mean, I get it. I'm a little bit old soul though. My grandmother, she was her and Aretha was one of my grandmother's favorites. So like at 4 years old, you know, I'm just singing along.
Yeah.
If you don't know me by now, you know.
My grandmother used to act like she knew people personally.
Yeah.
Like, and she would sit there and like tell stories. Like, so if she heard someone do an interview, she'd be like, you know, Aretha likes her cornbread.
Yes. I understand that.
As if she made it for her personally. Yeah.
I love it. Oh yeah. But you know, they're battling, right? And the commentary and this and that, whatever. And there is a t-shirt brand that I know, and she already had a shirt out there. I mean, like, see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna hold off on revealing the title until I can, you know, get some legalities in place. Exactly. But the coffee table book, that is, you know, the whole purpose and vision is to highlight Black womanhood, Black motherhood specifically, in a positive, passionate way, because there's not enough of that. Not enough. And as an individual that can, acclaim both, right? I am a Black woman mother. Finally, she's 6, but I've entered motherhood, and there's a lot of darkness when it comes to Black motherhood, the stereotypes, all of that. So this book is just really highlighting the passion, the wisdom that can only be Black motherhood, right? Wisdom that is only we can give these nuggets, because we have a very unique position, perception, and experience in this particular country. And so that's it. It's just a book of happiness. And it's called a coffee table book. It's going to be in full color. All right. And I'm encouraging people to sit it out. It's a conversation piece. It's meant to invoke conversation and connection, unity, and love.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, for those new to the Sharon Shani show, we do a wellness whisper every Monday night. Mika is our wellness whisperer. And you did a promo video over the summer, Mika, but can you tell us, what is a wellness whisperer?
Right. A whisperer. So when we say like horse whisperer, dog whisperer, basically it is a subject matter expert on a particular subject. Okay. So Caesar Milan, that's my dude right there. He's a dog whisperer, right? He had a special connection, a special understanding, and a particular way with dogs, and connecting how the dog communicates, what they feel, what they want with their owner. So teaching the owner how to communicate with their pet. All right. So if we just kind of somehow transform that and overlay that on top of the wellness whisperer, it's the same thing. I am connecting individuals, showing them how to communicate, touch into themselves, understand themselves, their goals, their shortcomings, their strengths, all of that, how to tap into wellness. And really what wellness means is a very broad word. It's a very broad word. Hence the phrase wellness is greater than yoga and green juice. A lot of people think that's what it's all about, but it's not. It is, an all-encompassing word basically for inner peace, right? So it is mind, body, and spirit. And I show you how to make that easy, because we make it too complicated. That's all.
Awesome. Do you have a whisper for us tonight?
I do.
Look at that.
I do. And it came like a ram in a bush. Because I was like, it's Monday? Is that time? So tonight, the whisper is, do you know the value of unity? And I like to deliver the whisper in the form of a question. That is me. That is how I am. That is who I am. I like to invoke thinking. We don't think enough. Everything is streamlined and done for us, right? So by asking a question, it really does kind of make you sit still a little bit, pause for a moment, and think about what I'm asking. I don't want to tell you how to feel. I don't want to give you your own idea. I want to ask you. I'm exploring and engaging. So do you know the value of unity? And why that would be important to your own overall wellness? Unity is needed for survival. Okay? It really is. And as much as we are 6 feet away from each other right now, and we like to, be lonely stoners and walk by ourselves, and I don't have that many friends, and I'm a party of one, and all these other things, right? We are social creatures. It's in our DNA. It's how we were created. Unity is very necessary for survival. And Shani, I know you are a history buff, and I'm pretty sure you can identify several times where major, dynasties and kingdoms and all those things fell, have fallen because they weren't unified. And so one of the things that I'm seeing today, especially in the time of Black Lives Matter, Juneteenth 2020 was the biggest Juneteenth recognition that I've in my entire life. I thought listen, I'm not going to be one of those people like, I've been celebrating Juneteenth. Everybody has to come into knowledge at their own, right? I mean, I'm not going to look down on you. I wasn't born knowing it. I learned it just like everybody else had to. And just because I learned it, earlier than somebody learned it earlier than me. I'm not here to make anybody feel bad, but I will be very honest and tell you, there was a little bit of shock and confusion where it was pushed on almost every platform. I mean, I turned, Apple Music, it was plastered on their homepage. I've been a member of Apple Music. I don't remember seeing that last year. Right. It was everywhere, and Black Lives Matter was everywhere. And just so we are clear, I'm not mad at any of it. Not at all. Not at all. Mm-hmm. But it leads to my point of unity. There's a flip side to that we'll probably unpack a little bit later. I feel like a white platform had to push that for it to matter, but I'm going to get off my soapbox and stick to my point of unity is important, okay?
Right.
Unity is important. So, do you know the value of unity? And this will be a series, and I'll just, continue with this as the Mondays go by.
Awesome. I would love for you to stay on.
Okay.
Holly comes on.
Yeah.
Because your last statement it connects to something he posted about a week ago.
Okay.
And it's just like my segue. But before I get there, where can people find you in these social media streets?
Oh, yeah. So the website is coming soon. So I'm going to not announce that, but the website is coming soon. It's my fault. It's all my fault. It should have been ready, but that's okay. It'll be ready when it's supposed to be ready. I felt God tugging me back a little bit. So I'm okay with that. So meet Mika Fresh on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. I don't really be on Twitter like that, but I'm there.
Twitter scares me.
I can't do it. I'm not here for the dragging.
Twitter is like the mixing bowl. So if
it's like the table with the mean girls.
Right, it's like if you're from the DMV and you know where the mixing bowl, that's where $3.95, $4.95,
and 95
all collide. They all it's the mixing bowl. And if you in the wrong lane, you're gonna go the wrong way.
And wish you had not gone the wrong way. You'd be like, no, stop, back up, reverse.
All right. I retweeted something that I did not want to retweet. I was so mad for like 2 days. But anyway, because I didn't know how to delete it. Like, I don't even like this platform.
Yeah, it's just a regurgitation of, I don't know, just everybody that has an opinion, is whether it's based on anything solid or not. I mean, it's just their platform to be heard. I reckon we all want to be heard. I don't know, but like I said, I can't do the drag culture.
Right.
It is anti-unity. How about that?
So I'm really excited to introduce my special guest tonight, because when I met him 2 years ago in Seattle at Next Church, and he got up there and started speaking and taught me about my Black self. But he was actually probably, I don't know, Tal, I think you were talking to the white people in the room, but I was like, I feel like I need to go back to school. Like I was so smart and like so knowledgeable. And for the last 2 years, I've been trying to get him on the show. Every time I see him at an event, we were in Baltimore together last fall. I asked him again, can you come on my show? Anytime. I finally got him on, and I'm so excited. And so without further ado, I'd like to welcome you, Tali Harrison, to the Sharing with Shani show. And can you just tell us a little bit about yourself in your own words?
Wow, well, it's good to be on with you, and finally that we were able to do this. And I mean, maybe it took the little COVID thing, well, the big COVID thing, right, to slow us down enough to catch up with each other. Well, so Tali, let's see, what about me? I'm the husband to Crystal, who is an amazing artist, a lovely woman, can sing, is a nice person too. She's wonderful, and I'm blessed to be in partnership with her in this journey. I'm also the father of Isaiah, who is a recent graduate from the University of Washington. I'm the father of Kennedy Anaya Sherrell, who is a junior at Carleton College in Minneapolis, just outside of Minneapolis in Northfield, Minnesota. I'm the father of Lanaya, who is an artist also, just like her mother, and is a junior who is doing big things in the performance director, producer world. And then the father of, last but not least, Jordan Elise, who is, you out of all my kids, you always have one that kind of confuses you because they're just so, this one is like, Jordan is, every so often I talk to her and I go, who are you?
Right.
But I'm also a PK. I'm the descendant of enslaved folks who were originally Peter and George Hairston, who were the cousins who came over from Ireland and started their plantations, and Hairstons come out of that lineage. West Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia. We are considered the largest enslaved family in American history in Black and white. And I think being a PK, you kind of grow up with church in your bones. So I'm also doing homework under the pews and learning to preach at 17, and have been preaching and blessed to have preached all over the world. And God has just been gracious to myself. Shout out to all my family and friends in the DC area, in the DMV, Heather Hairston and Heather Clark and their husbands and children, and my boy Janelle Damon in DMV. Love y'all. Who else? I won't shout out more names. I'll just shout out family because then the friends will get mad.
Forgetting they gonna call you. They will call you.
They will. They'll be quick to text me. I'll start getting texts in a minute, right?
I thought we were cool.
That's right. But I've been doing this reconciliation. I started out like working with evangelicals 20 years ago in reconciliation work, and quickly learned that the trap is that evangelical reconciliation is void of a power analysis and void really of being able to look more deeply at the embodied gospel. And so it's a lot of being nice, but not a lot of transformation, right? And so I continue to do work and travel globally, South Africa and different places. And currently over the last 7 years have been doing a project in Barranquilla, Colombia, with just loving Afro-Caribbean culture and life, but also working in what it means to do this work, coming alongside of folks who want to transform and do social change in the world. And so with a kind of rooted in a different kind of good news, if you know what I mean, rooted in a different kind of gospel, a more decolonized gospel, right? So I'm also a PhD candidate, and we'll finish soon here.
Prayers. Right. Mika Mika was in school like the first 2 years of the show, and we was just praying every day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm still praying. I'm a 4 a.m. trying to write this thing person right now. It's like, yeah, that's life as a PhD. It's a journey.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's just a little bit. That's a little bit.
Just a little.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So your topic today is fragile faith Christians, and I was like, okay, all right, Tally, speak on it.
I like that.
Right, say more.
Right. So, well, I think part of my own journey. I'll start there with my own journey. Is just trying to come to an understanding as to why our faith is so fragile. Like, why do we need? Just a basic claim here. Why do we need human institutions to carry the water for our faith? Right? Why do we need a party to carry the water? A Democratic or Republican or a governmental institution? They're totally institutions that are crafted out of the minds of humanity to carry the water for our faith. Right? Isn't our faith bigger than man-made institutions? Because what ends up happening is you get this, well, I don't know about Black Lives Matter, the organization, but I support, Black lives. Well, name an institution that you are 100% on board with that doesn't cross your ideological, boundaries. Because I know, as much as I love the church, and the church is my mother, but I'll go with scripture. The church is my mother, but she has a tendency to whore herself. At least, right? Talk to Hosea, right? Talk to Prophet Hosea's story. But talk to the prophets. They'll tell you that the church has had a tendency. And so, if here I am trying to understand how we expect human institutions to either carry the water for our faith, right? Or in other words, let me put it differently. To defend our faith, we need somehow like institutions to defend our faith. Right? Isn't our faith bigger than a human institution? And so I started to do some work with trying to uncover like the roots of fragile faith, right? Where our faith has become so fragile in this particular generation. And I actually don't think it's young people. I don't think it's young people. I think the baby boomers, I'm going to get myself in trouble with a few mentors and friends, but I'm going to say it anyway. I really think the baby boomers grew up in a particular genre of Christianity that was a mile wide and an inch deep. Right? Because if they did their Sunday morning and did their Sunday school and you know how we grew up in church, we went to church at least I did. I grew up Sunday morning, Sunday school, Sunday morning worship service, Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening at the church, Tuesday Bible study, Wednesday choir rehearsal, Thursday youth meeting, Friday saints meeting, and Saturday we clean the building. We clean the church. See, But the mile wide and the inch deep doesn't come from how much I was a part of the church in terms of its participation. The mile wide and inch deep comes from being unable to see your faith rooted in something beyond the human constructs that we create. And so now that we have COVID and we can't meet in a building, where's your faith? Mm-hmm. Is it limited to the worship service? Right? Is it limited to the practice of showing up on Sunday? You mean you can't show up to be the body of Christ in any other way than at a time on a day? As if Jesus waits for that moment to show himself? Right. I don't think so. Like that, if that's the case, then we've got a real fragile faith. Like our it's paper thin, right? It can't hold no water.
Absolutely. I feel like this just goes to my whole journey as a Christian, right? Like I had to hit rock bottom to realize I didn't even have a relationship. And so the past 12 years has been this pretty much reconstructing what I learned, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm probably going to hurt feelings too, but I didn't learn anything in my youth that could sustain what I was facing. I didn't have anything to hold on to. So it was it was trying to figure out this faith from a perspective of how can, like, I don't want to, I was 35.
Sure.
I realized I didn't have a relationship with Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mission since that day has been, I don't want people to wake up at 35 and been in the church all their life and realize they don't even know him. They don't even know, they don't even know what he's about. They don't even know what he's here to do. Like, they just have this super fluff, this fluff experience of him that is not even, that's not even going to take them from valley to valley.
Okay, so let me do this thought experiment with you. Okay. I've been married for a little bit, and every so often, and my wife did this recently. She actually did this yesterday or today. She said, and I think I did it to her recently too. I said, you know, we had this conversation. I thought I knew you when we got married. Like, I thought, like, when we were dating, I thought, surely this is the person that I want to marry because I know you are so dope, right? And then we get into a year and it's like, wow, she's better than I thought she was, right? And now it's been a few more years and I'm like, if I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't have waited. Yes. I think that's the way it actually is with Jesus.
Yep.
Right? You should actually say, at the age of 35, I've been walking with Jesus, trying to find him, and I just figured out something so good about him now that I didn't even feel like I knew him back then.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because the relationship grows so much, you go, I really didn't know he was that dope back then, but now I know. Right? So that's the journey that we should be taking. It should unfold so much. Now, maybe the problem is, like, we're so busy having the those kind of relationships where I don't really know you then, and I didn't really know you then, and I don't really know you now. Mm-hmm. Them kind of relationships, where it's just like we text for a good 3 years. That's about it, right? Right. that Facebook relationship where I see you in public and I don't talk to you because I just friended you. I don't actually know you. That kind of thing. But if you're really into relationship with God, if you're really trying to scratch it out, if you're really trying to feel it, there should be those moments where you go, yeah, I didn't know you 10 years like I know you now. Yeah. Right? I didn't know you 10 years ago like I know you now. And so I really feel like all along the way, there's these moments of going, or at least God could be so small that you actually could get him. Right? You actually could just figure this thing out. I don't want to be that cat that figures God out. I want to be that cat that goes, man, tomorrow is just another experience in going deep with a God I thought I knew the day before.
Yeah, that's what keeps it fresh, I think.
Right?
And then I think it's also being able to be vulnerable. Because if I liken this relationship to our human relationships, I find myself in a new relationship after a long time of being single and coming into it with a different perspective. Of course, sure. I'm wiser, I'm older, and I really don't have time. Like, I don't have time to be starting over and over, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's this vulnerability that I recognize in myself that I didn't have 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And it has caused me to experience something greater than I didn't expect, because I've let my guard down. Now, I don't know how to. I guess you just know when to do that, because I don't want people asking me, well, how do you let your guard down and you've been hurt? And I don't really know, but I think you just know. I guess it's one of those test the spirit by the spirit type of experiences. But I feel like we got to do that with God too. Like, he created us. So I know I'm being very superficial with my relationship. Like, I used to God, I need money for this light bill. Like, what? Right. Right. And what God would do is say, write a book. And that made no sense to me. Right. But in that whole experience, that is how I'm like, it's blowing my mind right now. Right. So. Right. I think the opportunity we have in this moment,
right, in this traumatic moment, in this pandemic moment, in this protest moment, is to see our faith get roots in ways that it has not before, right? To see our faith get rooted. And I think the opportunities that we have historically, our forefathers and mothers used opportunities like this to root our faith, right? To understand more deeply how to sing a song to get us through moments of just being stuck in the house, right? And instead of leaning into TikTok or leaning in, which are nothing wrong with any of that, but we find a way to generate a deeper faith that has roots that go deeper, because deeper roots mean, right, stronger growth and a more capable way of standing in the world, right? And I think that's the struggle, is we have trouble with standing in the world, in a world that doesn't like our Blackness, right? In a world that doesn't like our embodiment, the way we show up, right? That it doesn't like us that way. So if I show up with confidence and because I'm rooted in my purpose and I'm rooted in my identity and I'm rooted in who God has made me, that's gonna activate some resistance in some folks. But then with resistance and roots comes wow, Sister Girl's going at it right now over there.
Yeah.
Somebody
like, yeah. I was like, what is that noise? I don't know if you can hear us, but you might want to know. But we're live. Anyway, that's what happened. That's what happened.
That's when you Facebook Live. That's right. That's right. Right. That's what happens when you Facebook Live and you do who was it? The two cats that did the singing competition or the singing thing and they couldn't get it right and one group didn't know how to IG Live.
We are not Teddy Riley and Babyface. Come on, Riley, don't do us like that.
We just had a Teddy Riley Babyface moment. Hold on.
My whole laptop fell, y'all. I'm sorry.
He was just going. He was dancing to no music. This is fun. So one of the things that I enjoy doing is reading your posts, because you say some of the most profound things. And this is one of the things I wanted to come back to with Mika talking earlier about unity. And I was supposed to write it down because I knew I was going to forget. So Mika, I hope you remember what you said. But you posted a couple days ago, Tali. White folks support a Black Lives Matter as an organization are often informed by whiteness first, which is in part the problem. Racism teaches you that your beliefs or interests come before others' existence and wellness. So to affirm all lives, including female lives, Black and brown lives, gets conditioned on whether those lives believe in government or economics, like whiteness believes. This is one reason you are conditioning the statement, Black Lives Matter. Unconditional love of all creation is ironically trumped. And it goes back to Mika's point of how Juneteenth, how, you know, the influx of, like, the importance of that was so heightened this year. And what was your statement, Mika, earlier, that it took a white person to make that important?
Yeah, it took a white platform to push that.
Yeah. And I felt like, I was like, that's what made me remember when she said that. I remembered your post from so can you talk a little bit more about that topic?
Well, yeah, so that was crazy. That was crazy. And that was crazy because, so check it. I do this. I'm a part of a research team that does physics and education and equity research. So physics, education, and equity research. And I've been doing it for about 6 years now, right? So the latest grant with the National Science Foundation, we're doing research on something called whiteness, right? And what we realize is there are a few constructs for whiteness that are overt. They're all implicit.
Yes.
Right? They're all implicit, which means they're hard to materialize, right? They're hard to make material. But one of the early writers of critical race theory spoke to this, that whiteness is material and shows up in things like property and shows up in things like normativity and legal understandings of embodiment, right? So I was messing with that. And then I started to realize when we've been doing this work recently and writing several articles for our research. And I was like, wait a minute. So you're going to condition whether Black Lives Matters as to the organization largely based on how you identify a system of beliefs that are not Blacks. They're not based in Black origins and Black constructs and Black existence. They're based in white existence. White existence is largely conceptual, right? It's a conceptual understanding of the world. So to think in terms of whiteness, we begin to think about ways of creating what we call decontextualized ideas, decontextualized notions of ideologies, right? So all of science is largely decontextualized. You're studying the other. You're not studying an embodied reality, you're studying a disembodied reality, right? You're studying something that's denatured. So when I started to piece that together, I was like, so what you're telling me is I have to argue with you about the validity of Black Lives Matter as an organization simply on the measurement that you provide me. Like, that's like giving me a ruler that's 12 inches too long and saying, see, you're short. Mm-hmm. Right? See, you come up short because you don't measure up, because here you go, look at this and look at this and look at this. In fact, things like they tend to be more Marxist or more socialist, when many white evangelicals can't tell you what Marxism and socialism is, or that they participate in it every time that they go to church. Mm-hmm. Church is designed in part as a social organization. Right. But yet that's right. Or when they pay their insurance bill.
Right.
Insurance is socialized. It's socialized medicine. It's socialized insurance. Most of our democratic representation is socialized in its construct. But that's not how they will go, well, that doesn't matter because, right, that's not important. What is important is that's because you're using your ruler to measure Black bodies. And what we know is that measurement, you have always done that measurement and come up, you measure us short every time. But yet after 400 years, we're still here. Maybe your measurement is wrong.
Mm-hmm. I just like listening to you. How can people get in contact with you? Like if they want to invite you to their church or, whatever, you travel all over, you speak, you preach. Yeah. How can people contact you, Tali? And when is it coming out? I don't even know if you have a book, but you need one.
Yeah. We're working on two books right now. And I'm taking my time. One of the most powerful moments I had in my life, there were two. One is, I'll answer your question, but there are two powerful moments in my life. One is on a project in South Africa. I had a chance to have tea with Bishop Desmond Tutu. And I had a chance to ask him one question. I knew I was only going to get one question. He was more interested in telling us about his recent birthday when we were there. And yet, so I was like, look, I got to ask you. I only got one chance, right? That moment right there was a powerful moment in my life. And the other powerful moment, I think, is when I had a chance to sit down and actually be in a room of three people with Michelle Alexander, the author of The New Jim Crow. And we actually prayed for her before she went out to speak at the university where I was working. And I was a part of a team that brought her. And Michelle Alexander said to the three of us before we prayed, we said, what can we pray for you about? She said, this book took 10 years of my life. Mm. Right? And I realized you can put a book out in a couple of months. But that's like weeds. They grow fast. Mm-hmm. And they die fast, right? They just boom, they show up anywhere. They don't last long. I want something that has roots. And so I've committed to writing something that's more like what they call magnum opus, which is more like a my life story, and being willing to tell that story and what the things I've learned about this journey doing this work as the descendant of an enslaved people, right? So my commitment is to my ancestors to do that work. And so eventually it'll come out. That was a long way of saying, yeah, I'll get to it because it matters. It matters to me to do it well. How to contact me? The best way to contact me is probably like Facebook Messenger, but that's just because I'm a private person. My wife will tell you, Tally does not like people a lot, but I'm in a place where on stage quite a bit. So, or behind the microphone or whatever. So I really use Facebook Messenger. If you want to contact me, just go look me up on Facebook or Instagram. And w.tally Hairston. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram. I am on Twitter as well, Tally206, I think it is, but I don't like Twitter either. I'm on Twitter to be nosy. That's what I do Twitter for. I'm like, let me find out what they thinking. Like, Twitter's like a good research platform. I get to find out what
it is,
right?
It is.
It's a research tool for me. That's all it is. And then you can reach me at Tally, Tali at CPRES, SEAPRES.org, because I am the Director of Organizing, Advocacy, and Development for the Seattle Presbytery. So I get a chance to work with about 40 ministries and churches in the Seattle region in the Presbyterian world. So, yeah. So
we have some comments. People, I can't tell who was listening, who wasn't in this room. I don't even know if I like this, but I'm texting people, can you see us online? You can, because we got some feedback. So they said that you are really deep. Someone else said, oh, my own child is listening. She never listens, but she quoted you. She said the church, she quoted your statement on the church is my mother, but she tends to whore herself. And then she said the one, not the two. So that's a X thing, a Z, a Zoomer. She's a Gen Z. Someone said they like Michelle Alexander as well. She has and your comments on maybe your measurement is wrong. It's resonating with people as well. So I thank you so much for coming on tonight.
It's so good to be with you.
Yes, it was awesome. Listen, every year, the first show always has some bumps and curves, and we navigate. I got to bring my business bestie, friend, mentor, business, because she hates the word pivot. She just did a whole rebrand, and she's like, no, we're not going to call it a pivot. I forgot what we were supposed to call it, but we had to pivot anyway.
I think it's like one of those words. Remember, do you remember last year and maybe even the year before, the word was like, the phrase was like shift in the atmosphere. People got tired of that really quickly. So maybe it's just like one of those.
There's a shift in the atmosphere.
Right.
Everybody was like, don't you say it's a shift? And it could just be one of those things.
And I'll probably lose friends too, but you remember, and then every conference was con. It was con, Comic-Con, everything was a con, everything was a con, right? Right.
Oh yeah, because we tapping in now. We tapping in.
Tapping
in. Okay, tapping in.
But yeah, so I thank you both. Mika, thanks for staying on.
Sorry for the noise. Everything that I was sitting on just fell. Laptop fell. All that fell. I was just like, oh, snap, get it back. You can hit mute and everything.
Mika, you can read the comments later, but they will talk about you too. They'll talk about that. Oh. What is she doing over there?
Oh, Lord, I was falling.
I thought she got into a fight with somebody.
Right.
I thought she was scrapping.
Right.
Fair. Right. Fair. It's all good though.
Those kids, right? Listen, this is the Sharing with Shani show. I'm glad we started off season 6 like this.
Yes.
Grateful to you, Tali, for being on the West Coast. I know it's probably dinner time right now, so family time. So I appreciate you and your time and your wisdom tonight.
No, I'm about to throw some stuff in a bag and head down to Oregon and meet with white pastors. So y'all pray for me.
Praying. And Mika, thank you for coming on. So next week we have a panel. It's going to be a panel. We're going to uplift Black entrepreneurs doing great things. So we have a 13-year-old all the way to I'm not going to give people ages, but they started 13. That's going to be awesome to hear this 13-year-old. You know, she is my niece, but she still got a business. So there we go, right? So that is going to be our show next week. This is the Sharing with Shani show, highlighting ordinary people working for extraordinary God, sharing love, light, and life. See you next Monday on Facebook Live. There's no issues, technical issues. Thank you so much, Tally.